Hello and welcome to another edition of Mama's Gone Wild. I'm Nikki Woods.
I'm Mary Boyce.
And last week I wrote a blog about the Preachers of L.A. that got a lot of feedback, and the show itself has been causing a lot of discussion. And so we wanted to go to an expert.
Oh wow!
Robin Ware, who is a PR and marketing consultant, but she also does a lot of damage control, I guess, as a part of her job. And we wanted to talk about some of the scandals that have been going on, not only with the show Preachers of L.A., but also in ministry in general, and overall how you can kind of do some damage control when things don't go the way that we expect them to go. So welcome to the show.
Hi there. Thank you. I'm so glad to be with you guys.
Well, we are glad to have you. So let's get right to it. Preachers of L.A. I don't know if that's quite what the show turned out to be quite what anybody expected. We've had nude pictures. We've had babies out of wedlock. We've had all sorts of stuff going on.
And one common person,
yeah, Dietrich Haddon. So what do you say to that, and how do people respond to all this bad publicity?
Well, let me say the Preachers of L.A., as a person of faith, and, I kind of toe the line because I am a person of faith. I'm actually a licensed minister, but I have marketplace ministry, so I work in business. I am a career professional doing PR and marketing work, but my clients happen to be primarily faith-based. So when I heard about the Preachers of L.A., I thought it was a great opportunity for light to go into darkness. I know you're probably saying, oh, Robin, that's a standard PR line. But really, I just thought it was a great opportunity. I think that I heard somebody say that the pastors that did this show, they were doing it not to show themselves as shepherds, but to show themselves as real men. But the problem with that is that once you become a shepherd, you're always a shepherd. And so you have to own everything that comes with being a shepherd, including living in a fishbowl.
Yeah, we actually had Bishop Noel Jones on the show not too long ago, and his point was like, we're just men. We make human mistakes. We're not God. We're not Jesus. But I think that most people, go to church because they think that the minister is like that intercessor. They're like one step closer, and they're going to help you get there. So we hold them to a higher standard. Is that wrong?
To some degree, it is. We're all responsible for our own salvation. No minister, no pastor, no bishop can go to heaven for you. We all have to walk out our own walk.
Right. Okay.
So, but I don't think it's I don't think that it's too much, though, to ask that your pastor represent God, in a godly way. And so I know a lot of people want to make comments about the appearance of excess or, all the prosperity. And, let me just go on the record and say this. Pastors did not take a vow of poverty. I honestly don't have any problem with anyone achieving a certain level of success. I think where we have to be careful, though, is if you put it out there, you may have to explain how you got it. Mm-hmm. You can't run from that fact. The answer is not, it's none of your business. Not when you put yourself out there. When you are a public person, then you are held accountable to what comes with that territory.
And most of the pastors, at least with mega churches and the ones featured on Preachers of L.A., I mean, they have multiple streams of income. It's not just the church that they're relying on for their income. I mean, they're singers and speakers, and they do a ton of things.
Authors,
yeah.
They do all kinds of ventures. We were kind of joking, saying I kind of do, quite a few things. Well, I'm actually a certified meeting planner, so I've had the privilege of working with some really, big name mega pastors. In fact, I worked at the largest mega church at one time. And we did so many things. We did conferences out of the country. I've done events in the Bahamas. I've done an event in Israel. I mean, I've done some events everywhere. And when these pastors, a lot of times what they do is they set up their own personal businesses or their own personal ministries that it's legal to pay them a salary. And so you're right, the church isn't their only paycheck. And let me say this, a lot of mega pastors don't even draw a paycheck.
Okay.
They forfeit that because they are so blessed and doing so well from their other private personal ventures.
But may I play the devil's advocate for a moment?
I knew you were coming.
She looks like that, right? She looks like she'd be the one.
But for some people, there's an element of where it looks like it's vanity when it comes to possessions that some of the pastors
like
have.
A Bentley, really? We need a Bentley. We need 3 planes, really?
That kind of stuff. I think that's what turns people off sometimes.
Sure, it does. But you know what? That's the same case even with Hollywood starlets. And that's why I said, when you know that you live your life in a fishbowl, you have to be careful. My pastor said it. I'm with Bishop Paul Morton, Changing a Generation in Atlanta. And somebody asked him, you can go on Twitter and see it. They asked him, what he felt about the show. And, different people have been making comments. And one of the words he keeps consistently using is, unnecessary. There are some things that we need to do in the kingdom that are necessary. And there's some things that aren't necessary. Is it really necessary to show that you've got 2 and 3 Bentleys and 2 and 3 Mercedes? Even if, you got them legitimately, and I'm not saying they didn't. I honestly believe they got them legitimately. As you said, I know people that get, preachers, not just people. I know preachers that get $60,000 and $200,000 book deal advances. So again, this income is not just coming from the check that they get from the church. So if they choose to take that money and put it down on a Bentley or lease a Bentley, whatever they choose to do with it is up to them. But, you have to be careful. It's just not, again, Hollywood starlet pastor or whomever, it's just not wise to flaunt it and say, look at me, and then, be upset when people have,
questions.
Their response isn't positive about it. Yeah.
So before we run out of time, I wanted, give for you to give us some advice. Should we ever have 2 Bentleys? And we need to do some damage control, and we have to explain and to do some steps that we can take to correct bad publicity. And just a real quick response: is all publicity good publicity? I know you hear that a lot.
Absolutely. Listen, as long as it's the same name. So listen, I want you to say my name, Robin Ware. Robin Ware. But listen, yes, there are. I got 5 quick R's. With social media, we all know people can put whatever they want online. It doesn't mean it's true, but there are some things that you have to pay attention to. And I do work with my pastors and my clients, and I help them with damage control. So here are my 5 R's. The very first one is respond. If it is something that questions your integrity or speaks against, your family or your foundation that you've really worked hard to set up, you need to get in front of it as quickly as possible. We know there have been some things that have come out. I actually applaud one of the preachers that the very next day after the show aired, they did a video and posted it. Now, again, you may not agree with what they said in the video, but they got in front of the controversy that they knew was going to come because of the show. You don't go in hiding. Number 2, you have to make sure that you get representation. Nikki, I always tell people that if you don't have a good command of the King's English, you do not need a microphone in front of you going on television.
See, that's why I like you, Robin.
I'm telling you, right. So get someone that can represent you, and then get someone that they know how to troubleshoot. We like to say, publicists, and I don't really call myself a publicist, but I do have a way with words. And so I know how to put a strategy together that's true, but that will, do a little bit of damage control. The third thing is that you want to make sure that you bring some resolution. You want to resolve this. You don't want to go into hiding until, or not go into hiding at all, but you want to resolve what the issue is. You don't owe the world all the details. You may have to confess, yes, I was a part of something that did not turn out the way that I thought it would. And for that, I apologize because I do care about my reputation. I care about the kingdom of God. I care about God's people. Number 4, this is so key, and a lot of people don't do this, and that's just remove yourself. You know what? Get out of the limelight. Go somewhere, the kids say now, go somewhere and sit down. It's important. I tell, again, I work with a lot of pastors, but you may need to take a sabbatical. There's a reason why this came up, this issue, particularly if it is something that you did that was against your character. You are probably tired. You're not getting your rest. You've got too much on your plate. And so it was really easy for that, for the enemy to use whatever it was to come in and mess up your life, or, for you to get caught up in something that, if you were in your right mind, you would have never, ever gotten involved with.
Mary said, "You good."
Is that good, Mary? And then Mary, I gotta be, I'm a person of faith. So I believe, as we say in the church, trouble don't last always. I know it's trouble doesn't last always, but we say trouble don't last always. Number 5 is you have to rebuild. Listen, we all have things that happen in our lives. Once you say you're sorry, you've done your damage control, you've explained a little bit, you've gone and got renewed, refreshed, and restored, then come on back out and you can rebuild. You may not come out in front of the people and, declare, I am woman, hear me roar, but you do come back and you start to live your life again. I just don't believe that there's just not anything that you can't rebound from. Thank God, God has got a second chances. He gives us second chances. It's people like us that we judge each other and don't want to give each other second chances. But Mary, I think, if you really were honest with yourself, like I'm honest with myself, there are things that I'm really glad that I got to rebound from.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and usually the best lessons taught are the ones that you actually learn firsthand. So, I mean, I think when you turn it around and you're able to show people, this can happen, but this is also what you can learn from it and how you can come back from it, that those are the lessons that really resonate with other people.
Absolutely.
Yes, and people tease me and call me the Twitter police. You can follow me. Can I say this?
Absolutely. I was going to say it.
But I'm the type that I will, because of love and because I want people to be the best that they can be. I will go to them on Twitter through a DM or through an email or however I can get to them. And I'll say, what, you should take that down. We know that social media, things go viral, they don't go away, but you have to think before you post. You don't know, maybe in 5 years you're going to run for public office, you're going to become a pastor, you're going to get a major leadership role, or you're going to be interviewed by Mary and Nikki Woods. So I want to make sure that when people go do their research and say, okay, who is this young lady? They won't, see pictures of me, doing things that I would just be shameful of, or comments that I made, talking about people online.
That's a really good thing for young people to hear.
High
school, junior
like
high school,
to my teenagers,
right? Who don't think 10 years down the road about an employer doing a search on them and what they could find. So we really appreciate it. We'll have to have you back because we know there'll be more scandals. And give out your Twitter handle one more time.
Sure, at Robin M. Ware.
All right, Robin, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you for joining us for another episode of Mama's Gone Wild. I'm Nikki Woods.
I'm Mary Boyce. Stay wild.